It can help calm us. It can help remind us of who God is as we give it to Him. And we can do something. It may not be the golden ticket that solves every problem in the world, but like you said, what it does is it opens up the possibilities of other ways of thinking about things.
Yep.
Things that we never would have considered if we didn't get our God-given tendency to have to move in.
Hi, I'm Caroline Howard, a biblical counselor and certified life breakthrough coach.
And I'm Chris Oneth, marriage and family therapist and executive director of Downey Counseling Associates.
Welcome to Our Next Question, where we attempt to answer the questions of life through conversations in psychology and Christianity.
Remember, this is a place of discovery and definitely not the final answer.
All right, welcome back. We're
Hello.
Here.
Hi.
Is it just,
Hopefully you haven't missed us too terribly.
is it just me, or does it feel like it's been a long time?
It's been a long time.
There are
since
some scheduling snafus, and so we had to shift some things around.
Life happens.
We were going to record this last week, but Mel and I went to see our granddaughters in Leavenworth, Kansas.
So fun.
It was a blast.
I heard all about it. It sounded fun.
I was surprised at how Kansas looked. Honestly, we all have our stereotypical.
I heard it had hills.
It had hills. It had green trees. It had beauty. It had nice drives, windy type drives. And I honestly pictured it like all flat. Much the way I'm sure people picture California all beach.
That's true.
We have these stereotypes of how other places look or even people act or whatever.
Think of how disappointing it is for someone who's coming to California for the first time and they end up in Fresno.
Wow. Shout out to Fresno.
Better yet,
all our
like
listeners.
Barstow or Mojave.
Oh, gosh, there's
and
so
I always
many.
say never judge a town or a city by the freeway.
No, definitely not.
Don't do that.
No,
Yes,
for sure.
be careful.
Ugh.
All right, what are we talking about?
Today we're going to talk about walking.
We are.
More specifically, can it be solved by walking?
And where does that even come? Where does that question even generate itself?
Well, do we want to go there yet, or should we do our fun question first?
Oh, okay. Well, we'll keep the listeners hanging on. That's right, Caroline.
Somebody tells me that listeners would be highly disappointed. This is me just thinking probably too much of myself. If we didn't do our fun question.
Oh,
if
totally.
we went straight to serious.
They will slam the radio or throw the phone across the room.
Do we ever go to serious? Yeah. Okay, so here's the fun question. What is your morning routine?
Oh, boy.
Keep
you
it
even asked me
PG.
this earlier, and I haven't come up with one yet.
You don't know what you do every morning?
Every morning. Oh, yes, I do. I do.
Well, that's your morning routine.
Oh, well, okay. That makes sense. Thank you for talking me through that. That was scary at first, and then...
I'm glad
What say you, Caleb?
I don't know. My morning routine's pretty boring. I basically give myself enough time to get out the door. So wake up, shower.
Up
get
at
dressed and
7:30,
ready.
out the door by 7:35.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
You are 26
You're
years
living
old.
the dream.
I'll sometimes, I'm trying to be better about going for a run before work. So I'll usually like drive out to Ripon, run there.
Cool.
And then take another shower. And then
Hey, you can't.
Head to
I
work.
suppose you can't have. Well, I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
because I need to take a shower to wake up.
Totally. Okay.
But then I need to take a shower if I work out.
To clean up.
To get,
Yeah,
and
that
not
makes
smell
sense.
bad for
Wake
my
up
work
and
day.
clean up.
Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
you're driving from where to Ripon?
Modesto. Yeah.
Wow, that's a commitment. What's in Ripon that's so delightful that you have to run there?
My job.
That's true. But then you have to come back home and take a whole nother shower.
I like running in Ripon. I got a few good spots
Well,
there.
you know
more
you
than
won't
I
get
like.
stabbed.
I do like some spots running in Modesto too. but
Stabbed.
No.
Did you ever run like the corridor or Dry Creek?
That's where I'll often go.
Okay.
One of those two. Lately, it's been the corridor more.
I mean, that's really
Okay.
I was going to come up with this long list of
I mean, you could
places
just
to
run
run
around
in
the
Modesto.
neighborhood.
That was it.
It's
That was
just-
it.
You could make it really interesting and ring doorbells while you do it. Add some
Maybe I'll ring
element to
your
it.
doorbell.
Like, we have not experienced doorbell ditch.
Oh my gosh. At your
Man,
place?
Imagine
either.
doing that as an adult. Wouldn't that be something?
we
Like sans
You
drinking
can't.
or anything like that.
You can't because we're not fast enough now.
Oh, boy.
And there's so many.
yourself.
That's the wrong.
Speak for yourself.
Trip on your
Okay,
way
I might
out.
be fast enough, but I'll trip. But everybody has the cameras now,
yeah, that's true.
and so
All the
it's
fun
not
taken
as,
out of it.
They always
Yeah.
get caught.
There's like this guy with glasses, bald, ringing doorbells and running off.
He tripped and fell as soon as he left.
You know what? That would
Chris,
totally
is that
be
you
likely.
ringing my doorbell?
And the other part of it is I'm probably not as fast as I think I am.
That's what I'm saying. We think in our heads we can still do it, but when it comes down to it,
All right.
In my mind, I'm still...
See, look, we're getting wrapped
Moving
up
on.
already.
Someone else's morning routine.
Okay, my morning routine.
Yes, what is it?
We're going Monday through Friday morning routine is what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So usually naturally wake up around 5 and toss and turn because I'm mad that I'm awake.
Okay.
But what I've been doing lately is I've been trying to sit in silence, which I suck at.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
But that's, we're not even friends though. So I've been working on that, just like meditating, getting silent time with God.
Okay. Does that count if it's in the morning? Because aren't you drifting in and out?
Time with God doesn't count in the morning. That's the rule.
Disqualified.
Is that going to be one of our t-shirts?
Ooh.
No, and then usually at 6, my oldest with special needs flings the door wide open because she's ready to get ready for the day.
Oh, and once that train's rolling, there's no...
So then I get up, start getting her ready. At 7. My son wants to get up at 6:30. Usually it's 6:45 or 7.
Okay.
I get him up. Usually just throw on workout clothes. I don't have to take a shower before I work out.
Okay.
Yeah. So get ready to work out, feed the children breakfast, get one to school, come back, wait for the bus for the other one, and then go work out.
Okay.
Most days. I don't always work out.
Do you go to a place to work out?
I do. But now I do. For the last month and a half.
Good for you.
Going to... it's called Hot Works. It's working out in a sauna.
Yep. Oh, this is the 10-minute thing or the 20-minute thing?
You can do a 15-minute HIIT workout, or you can do a 40-minute isometrics workout. Whoa. Or you can do both. So sometimes I'll do both.
And it's in a steam room.
And it's in a sauna, yeah.
Like a dry sauna?
Yeah.
That would still kind of freak me out.
And you're supposed to do between 120 and 125. So you're working out in 125 degrees.
That's pretty intense.
It is.
I love the sauna. Yeah. And I love it when I go, but when I sit in it, it's like mentally challenging to just sit there and be okay. Because I could start hyperventilating or whatever. Don't breathe through my nose because that burns.
Yeah, but when you're working out, you're not really thinking, you don't think as much about the heat. Because you're focused
true. It's
on
like
the
cold
out.
Also.
Yeah.
Of course, your body's generating heat and all that other stuff.
I won't do cold. I get cranky and cold. I can do heat much better.
That could be effective at motivating you to work out though if you're cranky.
There you go. You could angry work out.
Just I'm done.
No, because sometimes even in the sauna, I have to be like, just finish the workout. Just finish the workout. In fact, let me do a brag on my son's story. I know we're getting off topic.
What?
A brag on my son's story really quick. Because the other day I went in, I had done a 15-minute HIIT workout. And then I was going to do a 40-minute isometrics.
Jeez, double dipping.
And I was like, I'm tired. My body doesn't feel like really doing this. I'm going to just half butt it. It's not really what I was thinking, but we gotta keep it PG. So I was like, you make a reservation beforehand. So nobody else was going to be in there when I made the reservation because up to 3 people can be in there. So I set my stuff up.
In the same room?
In the same little sauna. Yeah, it's a decent size. It's actually not because you're focused on working out.
Talk to each other.
So I put my stuff down. I'm like, I'm just going to do 95. I'm still getting used to it. So I usually work out between 110 and 115.
Oh.
Not the 125. Put it at 95. I was like, even if I just lay here and maybe do some somatic exercises, like I'm going to get something in, but I'm going to do really light work.
Okay.
Go to fill up my water bottle, come back. There's another girl cranking up the heat. She's like, oh, you're in here too? Is it okay if I turn it up? She turned it all the way up to 125, which means it'll fluctuate between 125 and 128 the whole time.
Oh, gosh.
And then I had to do all the workout exercise stuff with her.
Oh, boy.
And so I got done and I was like, I was proud of myself.
Good
I did it. It felt really good. And I thanked her. I'm like, you know what? Thank you so much. Like, you motivated me. I wasn't going to do it like this. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she just walks out.
Oh.
So I'm telling my son this story and I'm like, I don't know why she couldn't have been nice. Like if someone said that to me, I would have been like, oh my gosh, you're so welcome and great job. You know? And I was like, why couldn't? And my son says, Mom, you know, people go through stuff in their life and sometimes it's like makes them a rough person and they just can't be nice.
Wow.
And I was like, well, yeah, but I've been through rough stuff and I can still be nice. And his response was, but you've learned the tools to be able to do that.
Oh my gosh. Dude, checkmated. He checkmated you.
Sat there staring at him like, You're so wise.
Who are you?
Wow.
Well, the other part of that is
So crazy.
you paid her a compliment. And so many people are very uncomfortable with compliments, which could be another episode.
We've talked about
receiving
that.
love.
I bet, she went home and she was like, oh man, I wish I had said something different.
I hope so.
Maybe.
That's me sometimes. Like,
That's
I
crazy.
hope so. Geez, she should have been. Okay, what's your morning routine now that we're like way off
okay,
topic
so
here?
I was like, do I have a morning routine? And the whole time I'm thinking like moisturizers and like
oh wait, I could go there, but we'll be here forever.
Yes, and I'm like, no, I don't have, but I do have a morning routine. I usually get up at 5. And the crazy thing is I'll sometimes wake up at like 4:30 and I'll be like, no, the alarm hasn't gone off yet. Or just lay there for a little bit, get up at 5. And then I go to I go to Starbucks and I sit in silence and I don't just stare off into space. I read the newspaper and I kind of, enjoy the quiet.
Like a physical newspaper or like online
it's on the phone.
newspaper? Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll go work out. And then I'll come home probably about 7:30 and then get ready for my day, take a shower.
Nice.
Do what I need to do. If I'm not working out, then I will take a walk and I'll go to the park sometimes and do kind of a light kind of stretching or, something like pull-ups but on Fridays I get up and I go to Bible study.
Nice. Did you go? Wait. Yeah, it's
That's
Friday.
Today.
Did you go to Bible?
Yes, and one of our dear leader to the Bible study who has the key to the church. I was going to say church key, but that's something to open beer.
And a restaurant.
At a restaurant, yeah.
At a restaurant.
Is that why they call it church key?
That's what's called the church key.
I did not know this. I feel brilliant all of a sudden.
But he wasn't there, so we had to use my office. So we just went to my office and had Bible study.
So everybody
it's actually
had to
a
drive.
men's growth group.
Everybody had to drive from the church to your office?
No. Ooh, I pre-warned,
you knew beforehand.
Texted.
Oh,
Yes.
that's nice.
There you have it.
That's good.
Okay.
Now you all know what we do in the mornings. In case you cared.
Involved in that is, for me, walking.
Ditto, because I've been trying to walk 2 miles a day.
Good for you.
At least.
Right on. How many steps is that?
I have no idea.
Okay, then.
It's 5,000. Try not to do that because there was a time where I was obsessed with closing my rings, getting my 10,000 steps.
That gets unhealthy.
Can be motivating.
And so it wasn't motivating. It was becoming I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
But every good thing can become a bad thing.
Because we pervert it.
I'm such a pervert.
Chris would say we're perverts.
I knew it.
Yep.
T-shirts coming soon. Okay, so what are we talking about?
We're talking about this, can it be solved by walking? And do you know how come we came up with this topic? Or why?
How did we do this?
We were having dinner.
Yes.
You and your wife and I.
Yes.
And I was talking about how I had walked like 7 miles that day because it was a very stressful day. And I needed to work through things in my head.
Yes.
And you said, I'll butcher the words.
Solvitur Ambulando.
You didn't even say it with an accent.
I don't know. What accent am I going to use?
I don't know. What language is that?
It's Latin.
Ambulando is like moving or walking.
Is there no accent with Latin? I guess.
Well, let's move on.
I was surprised.
So anyway, I said that to you.
You said that to me, and we both went, oh, that'd be a great podcast episode.
Yes.
And here we are.
And so what does it mean, Solvitur Ambulando?
It is solved by walking.
Yes.
What? What is it?
Life. It's okay. So if you look at the Wikipedia here
problem?
that I'm looking at, it says it is referring to an anecdotal, practical solution to a seemingly complex philosophical problem. And when we say complex philosophical problem, we're talking about a life problem. Like, how do I manage A, B, and C? If it's a mental exercise we're taking part in, it can be very philosophical.
Yeah. So the way AI says it, if we want to know what AI says,
why
don't
do we want it?
Everybody does these days.
Garbage.
They say it suggests that a problem can be overcome by taking a walk and allowing for a change of perspective.
Aha.
This doesn't mean walking literally solves a problem in a physical way.
Thank you for
but rather that the act of walking can provide a mental shift that helps in finding solutions.
So, and there's all kinds of reasons for this.
So if I take a math problem and I go on a walk, I'm not going to get back from the walk and it's just going to be solved.
Maybe.
Well, though math, ew.
I would walk with Matt.
Well, and there's reasons for this, like physiologically.
Yes.
When we get our body moving, walking, involves the two hemispheres. Looking around, for example, watching where we are going can involve clearing our mind. And something similar can happen with what we call shower thoughts. If you've ever had that brilliant idea in the shower,
all of my ideas,
or you're mulling on a problem, and then you're like, oh gosh, there's nothing I can do about it. And then you go jump in the shower or whatever, and then you realize, oh my gosh. Well, part of that is the body's being stimulated. That is firing all sorts of brain areas. And something similar happens when we walk.
Yeah.
The brain is being activated.
So we call it bilateral stimulation.
Totally.
Right? You're getting both sides of your brain working.
Yeah.
So like I often will tell people, like if they're stuck in the emotional part of their brain, if something crazy has happened, right? We go into fight or flight. That thinking part of our brain shuts down.
Sure.
Go on a walk.
Does that mean we walk fast and like something is chasing us?
Whichever way you feel the need to. The day I walked over 6 miles, there was a lot of fast walking. But it wakes that thinking part of your brain up, because we need the emotional part and the thinking part of our brain. If
we think about the four parts of ourselves,
right,
like emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical, oftentimes we are stuck in the mental trying to figure out the chess game that is required of us to figure out a problem.
Yes.
And I think by moving that physical part, it does engage the other parts.
So, I think men, get more stuck in that mental, whereas women, of course, are going to get more stuck in the emotional.
Sure.
So totally. Men got to go walk to wake up that emotional.
Sure.
Women got to go walk to wake up the mental.
And all four parts are needed. And that's where I think it stimulates creativity.
Yeah. Because you said like the physical part, right? We're stimulating the emotional and the mental with the physical, but it also stimulates the spiritual part, like as you're in God's creation.
Yes.
Walking most of the time. That's
absolutely.
Sometimes I walk on my walking pad. It works too.
Wait, when you walked your 6 miles?
I was outside.
You were out. Good for you. Good for you, Caroline.
It was a sweaty day.
Just around the neighborhood, or?
Yeah, I have the most beautiful neighborhood. It's all like established homes with a lot of retired people who and right now everything's blooming. It's so gorgeous.
So they're not blasting the metal.
They're not.
Okay.
That's me. That's just my house.
The blooming is awesome, but yeah.
Everything in bloom, and
you can smell all kinds of stuff out there. And again, that's another aspect of our senses being activated.
Yeah.
Anytime we can activate, I will take clients walking around our office space in Modesto, and I know Caroline does too. She's stealing the space because she no longer has an office there. But at any rate, there's times I'll even reach up and grab a leaf off a tree, break it and smell it, and then encourage them to do the same, so that your sense of smell is being activated, because that's another part of the brain that can be recruited to change entire thoughts and moods.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an aspect of just perspective to get out, like if you're at home or at work or whatever, to get out and walk around like a neighborhood or whatever. You're saying hi to the neighbor, you're seeing other homes, you're in nature, I don't know, it almost reminds me of like when astronauts go to space and they see Earth from like this perspective. They see the whole of Earth, and it's like there's more beyond just my life that's happening. And
that is so true, right? Because oftentimes, well, I'll speak for myself, I want to just sit on my couch and throw my own little pity party and this sucks and stay in it.
Right.
But if I get out and I go walking, all of a sudden there's a neighbor saying hi and smiling at me, or there's a mom in a stroller with the baby crying. I'm like, I don't got that.
Well, I think even in stress, for example, when you're talking about, brooding or sitting on your couch or staying in one space, it's the whole symbol of it is very constricting, right? And believe it or not, when we're in stress, even in fight or flight, our pupils dilate, our heart rate starts getting rapid, but not in a physical exercise sense. It's a very much like preparing our body for damage, right?
Yeah.
Even our breathing becomes shallow and quick. And so when we are able to, and oftentimes we don't know this is going on in our body.
Yeah.
It's just like, the thoughts are generating this sort of physiological reaction. So when we, stand up, we go walking, we look around, that gives us absolute opportunity to redirect some of those thoughts, but it also gets the body moving in a healthy way. We were meant to move.
Yeah.
That's why I'm excited that you're going to work out.
Me too.
I've been trying to tell you this for
hate it.
years, Caroline.
I absolutely hate working out.
Really?
I hate it while I'm in there, but I feel so great when I leave.
Well, there's nothing about, this is a different topic conversation,
back.
but there's nothing in it while you're like, okay,
No, I have to talk myself into staying.
Maybe you need a variety of workouts.
There is a variety there.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Because like some days I'll do a cycle class. Some days I'll do the elliptical. There's a row.
You need to cycle outside where it's meant to be.
Gosh, I'm not very good on two wheels.
Yeah, how do you get good?
I know. I ride.
You do
ride. I have a bicycle. Needs a tune-up.
Live to ride, ride to live.
So, okay. So I was thinking about our topic on the way here. And right, it is solved by walking. And I was thinking, yeah, but there were things that were not solved that day I did all those miles.
Okay.
This is what I was thinking, right? Because so it started, and I had different conversations with different people. One of the conversations led me to literally like a meltdown panic attack.
Oh, wonderful.
But then walked another 2.5 miles while talking to your wife. Because that's what friends are for. And, felt better, things were solved and stuff like that. So I was like, why, when I was walking during that first conversation, did nothing happen? Like nothing was quote unquote solved. And then as I'm thinking about this on the way here today, I was like, but things were solved, because if I sat there and had this conversation, it would have gone in a completely different direction. Whereas, yes, it undid me, but I was able to, I don't want to say redo myself. I was able to survive and get out of it.
I think huge.
That was the walking that did that. The like not sitting in my cell, but keeping that.
Oh my gosh, Caroline.
Mental part of my brain
That is a symbolic for actual agency, because part of being undone is a loss of agency.
Yeah.
And so
by
and it was
walking, gone.
What's that?
And it was gone. My agency, I was
it was blown out of the water.
It was blown out.
But the fact that you are walking is you are doing something, and by doing something that reestablishes, the truth is I have agency. Here I am. Mm-hmm. I mean, like subconsciously. It's not like you're like, but I'm walking. That's good.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
and I could see it, like looking back, like on my way here today, I looked back and I was like, but look, now you can see what you did, that loss of agency. I can see that undoing. I can see that not being the person I want to be in life.
Okay.
And I think, again, a lot of that is because I kept the emotional part of my brain definitely took over then.
Okay.
But
fair enough.
The mental part, there was still something activated in there.
Sure.
And maybe it didn't come to the forefront right then during the walk.
Yes.
But it stored it so that I could rethink about it later and process through it better. Well,
and then I mean,
in a stable
way. In the physical part, he was actually doing something, and so there's. But I could imagine if you're having this difficult conversation and you're like, just short circuit and that's it, instead of actually like moving.
Right.
That would be even a tougher time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, hey, awesome. Thank you for telling us that.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times, as someone who works as like a creative person, how helpful it is to go on a walk. I can't tell you how many times like that idea I just can't break through comes to me when I just like go for a walk, and it's crazy. Because I don't know, you just get so stuck if you're in one place, and sometimes you just need that movement and getting out of that space to discover. And it just like, I don't even have to like really think hard about it. It just kind of like pops in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't fully understand why that is, but I've noticed it as a pattern, and it's effective.
Right. It makes a difference. Like I've always loved walking. Always. Mm-hmm. I've always like, I don't want to say I'm a hiker, because then that makes me
urban hiking.
Okay. I'm an urban hiker.
There we go.
Wait, what does that make you if you say you're a hiker?
That makes me think of like hills and valleys, and
you have to start buying like North Face equipment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Totally.
All of a sudden, I own all the Carhartt supplies.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I got my good walking tennis shoes for cement. I like the cement jungle. There you go.
So another
jungle.
aspect of walking is it is accessible to everyone.
Right.
Right. There's no like, oh, you got to buy this special equipment thing, or and your phone will keep your steps for you. Like you don't have to get a pedometer or whatever.
Well, you don't have to keep your steps.
You don't.
You don't. I mean,
It's so low barrier. You can go as fast as you want.
Yep.
You can go as slow as you want.
Yep. You can stop if you need to take a break.
Ooh, you can smell the roses.
You can stop and smell the roses. You can stop and say hi. We have a lot of lizards. And so like you'll walk by a bush and you can hear like all of a sudden see one scurry in there.
Oh, yeah.
So you make friends.
Hi, Mr. Lizard. Sure.
Bumblebees. I like to look at the big old, well, I guess they're not bumblebees. I've learned recently, the big black bees.
Yeah, what are they?
My sister-in-law was just telling me this yesterday, but now I can't remember.
Oh.
But I saw little baby ones.
They're a bee, right?
They're a carpenter bee?
Oh, yeah, that's carpenter bee. Yeah.
There were little baby carpenter bees, and then the mama, well, it was so cute.
Wow.
And they can sting, but they really don't.
Oh, well, have you tested that?
No, thank you.
I remember being very afraid of them as a child.
Well, they're
Yeah.
massive.
They're huge. They're going to kill me.
They're massive.
They're so loud.
Yes.
Their
It's like
buzz
a helicopter.
is so loud. Yeah.
Very intimidating.
Exactly.
So, what are some of the, like, you mentioned the Bible saying things about walking.
I did.
Tell.
Let me scroll down.
Okay,
Scroll.
Were you ready for that question?
Yeah, because the Bible often uses walking metaphorically
Okay.
to describe a person's way of life and their relationship with God.
Sure, my walk with Christ.
My walk with Christ. So like,
I've stumbled.
right? So,
I've backslidden.
well, we're going to go there. That's a whole
I am
nother episode.
running in my relationship with Christ.
Well,
Yes.
okay. So in this, like walking with that, it's talking about the importance of living according to God's will in our actions and our attitudes. And
So walk the walk.
And I love that it's our actions and our attitudes, because isn't that what we're doing with walking?
Okay.
We're doing an action
Yes.
to kind of sometimes change our attitude or to put our attitude
Yeah,
in
or even,
perspective.
potentially reach other perspective.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So like you said, there's walking in God's way. Deuteronomy 8:6. So you shall keep the commandments of the Lord your God by walking in his ways and by fearing him.
Oh.
So this like is referring to, walking in God's teachings and commandments and principles.
So that's okay, but this is all metaphorical.
This is all metaphorical. And
It
yet,
has nothing to do with physical walk.
as you're physically walking, you could be working on these things.
Well, it denotes a journey.
Right.
Right.
Because again, this is an action and it's an attitude.
And the other thing I have to think about is in even historical Christianity, we in this present culture have access to all sorts of means of transportation. And I've experienced a lot of people who actually look down on, like, why are you walking? Or even fighting for the closest parking spot.
Oh man!
In the store. And it's so funny. If you've spent time walking, you realize how far you can go in such little time.
Yeah.
And so I have no qualms whatsoever about, and it doesn't make me better than anybody, but about parking a ways away in the parking lot, because hey, and I actually am. The only thing that I might have a problem with parking ways away from the store in the parking lot is the parking lot is like Bedlam. It is. People disregard any sort of traffic rules because they think they only apply on the surface streets.
Yes.
But anyway, that's a different topic.
But this is why I love the city. Because in the city, you walk everywhere.
Yes.
Like,
yeah. It's kind of a given thing.
it is a given thing.
So
Everybody
in the
does it.
ancient world, they walked everywhere.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go back to some of what you were talking about there with the biblical.
Yeah,
Because
too.
a passage that came to mind for me, Micah 6:8.
Yes.
He has
Walk
told you, O
humbly.
man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. And I was just thinking, as you guys were talking about that, I'm like, why do we use that phrase of like walk with God or our walk with Christ, right?
Yeah.
And then I was thinking about that book that you brought up a while back, and then I read called Reconnected by Carlos
Oh,
Whitaker.
yes, Whitaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he talks about like his journey, because he goes and like kind of leaves his technology behind. He goes and stays at a monastery, and then he stays with some Amish people, right, in an
Nice.
Amish community. And he talks about that process of having to slow down. And he references another book called The 3 Mile an Hour God.
Yes.
Wow.
Which is like-
yes.
This is the pace
Yeah.
that like Jesus walked
Yeah.
when he was on the
Interesting.
earth. It's the pace that God walked when he was in the garden with Adam and Eve, right? Like he walked physically with them. And I'm like, I think that's really cool to imagine, like we're walking with God. And sometimes we try and move so much faster, like ahead of God.
Yes.
Well, think about it. So walking with God, right? Because that is I feel like it just shows that our walk with God, our relationship with God isn't just spiritual. It's a mental and physical thing.
Yes. Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And walking is all of that encompassed, which is so cool. I think of Joshua and the Battle of Jericho. Yeah. And them walking.
That's right.
Around.
7 times and blowing the trumpet. And
and it's like how much, because God created our bodies and how every little interesting thing works. And so he knew that walking would be something we would need to calm ourselves down, to get ourselves back to where we needed to be. And so how much of that was for Joshua and all the army to keep them calm and to instead of like just sit here and I'll take care of it, and they'll be like, I can't sit here and want to beat somebody
seems so lame.
Yeah, and he's like, hey, go walk, go do some laps, and calm yourself down, please,
and blast some trumpets while you're at it.
That's right. Music is great. Make a joyful noise to the Lord, right?
So that's another aspect. When you said that, I thought about our strengths as a human race, right? So there's actual interesting, fascinating, like, as I don't know if it's AI or not, but it's video out there that shows the speed of different animals, but they're all together. Kayla probably knows all about this, but it'll start off like a little mouse or like an ant, right? And then it shows another animal passing that up, and eventually gets to a human. And how, running or walking. And then there's another animal passes us up and it goes to the fastest land animal, which is a cheetah. But it keeps going. And what ends up happening is the cheetah, it's fast, but it burns out. And lo and behold, as you watch the video, what comes later is that person again. Because what we are good at, we cannot outrun animals.
Right.
But we can outtrack them. And what that means is by keeping our pace, they burn out and we can catch up to them. That's what we are good at.
There you go.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Awesome. I love this. This is great. This is great. I hope that this has encouraged all of our listeners to go out, motivated you to go out and take a walk or stay in and take a walk.
Well, can it be solved by walking?
Heck yeah.
Okay, then.
But it might not, like for me, it might not be solved that day.
Yes.
You might need a couple of weeks, and then you look back and go, there it was.
Well, and that's great, because then it reminds us that, okay, we don't need to have the answer in the split second that we're like snapping our fingers and wanting the answer.
Right.
There is something we can do before we get the answer. It can help calm us. It can help remind us of who God is as we give it to him. And we can do something. It may not be the golden ticket that solves every problem in the world, but like you said, what it does is it opens up the possibilities of other ways of thinking about things.
Yep.
Things that we never would have considered if we didn't get our God-given tendency to have to move in.
Yep.
There you have it.
And there you go. That's it.
All right. So I guess it can.
What's our wrap up, Chris? You got to do our wrap up.
What is the wrap? Oh,
I wanted to wrap.
If you've no, please do not. That is not something.
Do you want me to drop a beat for you?
So if you've enjoyed this episode, please, by all means, leave a review, either on any of the platforms, and let us know how we did. And if you have any questions, we'd love to read them and get to them on our subsequent episodes. Until then, hey, have a good week.
Go walk.
Thanks for joining us today as we continue our journey talking about life's many questions.
To stay connected with us, you can follow us at Downey Park Counseling on both Facebook and Instagram. You can also follow Caroline on Instagram at Relatable Counseling. And make sure you tune in next week for